Ladies and gentlemen, love is one of the most beautiful gifts we can ever give or receive. It lifts us, it inspires us, it brings out melodies in our souls we never knew were there. But let's be honest, sometimes love can also break us, drain us, and make us forget the very value we carry inside. Too many of us have been told that to love is to stay no matter what, to sacrifice until there is nothing left of ourselves. But I'm here to tell you, that is not love. Real love does not ask you to shrink. Real love does not silence your spirit. There comes a moment when you must ask yourself, am I honoring who I am, or am I losing myself trying to be loved? And in that moment, when you choose yourself, when you walk away from what no longer serves your heart, something powerful happens. You rise, you grow, you become stronger, more radiant, more valuable than you ever imagined. Because walking away is not giving up. It is stepping into the kind of love that begins with you. Self-worth is the heartbeat of every healthy relationship. When people talk about why walking away increases your value in love, it begins with the idea that you first must know and honor who you are before you can expect anyone else to. To place your self-worth at the center of your choices is not arrogance, it is not selfishness, it is a deep recognition that love is meant to add to your life, not subtract from it. If you believe in your own worth, you stop begging for crumbs of affection. You stop allowing yourself to be treated as an option when you should be a priority. The decision to walk away is not made because love means nothing to you. It is made because you know you deserve love that feels right, love that nourishes your soul rather than leaves you feeling empty. In love, it is easy to confuse endurance with strength. Many people stay in situations that no longer honor them, telling themselves they are strong for holding on. But strength is not always in holding on. Strength is often in knowing when to let go. Self-worth gives you the clarity to see the difference. It whispers to you that your value does not decrease because someone cannot see it. It reminds you that staying in a space where your needs are dismissed or your heart is undervalued only teaches you to shrink. Walking away, guided by self-worth, becomes a declaration that you refuse to disappear inside someone else's shadow. When you hold your worth close, you begin to understand that love is not proven by suffering. Love should never strip you of your joy, your identity, or your peace. If you find yourself in a relationship where you constantly have to prove that you are good enough, that is not love. It is a test you were never meant to take. Self-worth teaches you that the right love will recognize you as valuable from the start. The act of walking away, then, is not rejection of love, but rejection of the conditions that deny love its true meaning. It says, I am worth more than confusion. I am worth more than inconsistency. I am worth more than a love that asks me to sacrifice myself. What happens when you walk away with self-worth is powerful. You begin to shift the way you see yourself. Instead of asking, why wasn't I enough? You start asking, why did I believe I had to accept less than I deserve? This shift is the beginning of healing and transformation. You reclaim your energy, your time, your joy, and your sense of identity. Walking away becomes an act of faith in yourself. A promise that you will not abandon your own heart in the pursuit of someone else's. That choice radiates outward and others feel it. People are drawn to those who know their value. Respect follows those who respect themselves. There is also an unspoken beauty in this truth. When you walk away, you create space for the kind of love that matches your worth. As long as you remain tied to what diminishes you, there is no room for what could elevate you. By leaving behind what no longer honors you, you make room for a love that recognizes you, cherishes you, and meets you on equal ground. Walking away rooted in self-worth is not a loss. It is a realignment. It is a way of telling the universe that you are ready for love that mirrors the strength and beauty you carry within. Power in silence is often misunderstood, yet it is one of the strongest statements a person can make in love. Many believe that love requires endless words, constant explanations, and repeated attempts to prove feelings. But silence, chosen with intention, holds a kind of strength that cannot be matched by arguments or pleas. When you choose to walk away without shouting, without demanding recognition, you send a clear message. Your worth does not depend on someone else's acknowledgement. The absence of noise often says more than 1,000 words ever could. It tells the other person, and more importantly yourself, that you no longer need to fight for something that should come freely. There is a certain dignity in silence. It is the refusal to waste energy on battles that strip you of peace. When you step back and choose not to respond, you remove yourself from the cycle of push and pull, the endless back and forth that drains the spirit. Silence is not weakness, it is not surrender. It is the moment when you recognize that continuing to plead for respect or clarity only reduces your own light. Walking away in silence shows that you are strong enough to let your actions speak for you. It demonstrates that you trust yourself enough to know when words no longer serve a purpose. This power is not just about how others perceive you, it is about how you begin to perceive yourself. Silence gives you space to reflect, to breathe, and to return to your center. It allows you to separate your identity from the chaos of the situation. When you are no longer caught up in explaining why you deserve love, you begin to feel the truth deep inside. You deserve it simply because you exist. Choosing silence teaches you patience with yourself. It teaches you to sit with your feelings instead of trying to fix them through someone else's reaction. In that stillness, your value begins to grow stronger in your own eyes. It also resets the balance in relationships. When someone is used to you always explaining, always forgiving, always reaching out, they start to take your presence for granted. But when you choose not to engage, the dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the absence of your words becomes louder than your presence ever was. It forces others to notice what they have lost, to realize the weight of your love once it is no longer easily available. Silence makes them reflect in ways that arguments never could. Instead of begging someone to see you, you let the emptiness of your absence reveal your worth. There is also a healing energy in silence. Speaking often reopens wounds, while silence allows them to close. Words can escalate pain, but silence can create distance from it. When you walk away quietly, you give yourself the gift of peace. You are no longer tangled in the noise of trying to be heard. You are free to listen to your own voice, to rediscover the rhythm of your own heart. That peace becomes a source of strength, a reminder that you do not need constant affirmation from others to know who you are. In love, silence is not about shutting down, but about rising above. It is about refusing to diminish yourself by trying to convince someone of what should already be clear. When you embrace silence as you walk away, you stand in your full power. You become untouchable, unshaken, and undeniably valuable. Others may not understand it at first, but the truth is this. Silence has always been the loudest proof of self-respect. Creating space for respect is one of the most powerful reasons why walking away increases your value in love. Respect is not something you can beg for, negotiate endlessly, or demand through words alone. It is something earned, maintained, and reinforced through boundaries. In relationships, boundaries are not walls meant to keep love out. They are doors that show love how to enter. When you walk away from what does not honor you, you are building the kind of space where respect has room to exist. Without those boundaries, love turns into compromise after compromise until one person is giving everything and the other is giving very little. The act of stepping back is not about punishing the other person, but about teaching them what love looks like when it is grounded in mutual regard. When you refuse to settle for treatment that diminishes you, you are silently instructing others that respect is the foundation of your love. Without that foundation, love cannot survive. Walking away creates a moment of pause. It forces both you and the other person to reflect on what is happening. It reminds them that your presence is not guaranteed if it comes at the cost of your dignity. And it reminds you that your value does not decrease when you choose distance over disrespect. That pause is often the only chance for true respect to grow, because when you stay and allow repeated disregard, you are teaching that your boundaries can be ignored. But when you leave, you show that your boundaries are real, and real love will rise to meet them. The space you create by walking away is not an empty void. It is filled with lessons, healing, and clarity. For the other person, it becomes a mirror. They must face the truth of how they treated you, what they lost, and whether they are willing to meet you at the level of respect you deserve. For yourself, that space is a sanctuary. It gives you room to breathe, to restore your strength, and to reconnect with the truth that you are not defined by how others treat you. That sanctuary helps you remember that respect begins within. The way you allow others to treat you reflects the way you see yourself. By walking away, you strengthen your own respect for who you are. Respect in love is not simply about polite words or gestures. It is about consistency, trust, and care. It is about knowing that your voice matters, your needs matter, and your heart matters. When those things are ignored or dismissed, love begins to erode. Walking away becomes the only way to preserve your value. It is a declaration that you will not be part of a story where love is taken for granted. The space you create becomes the ground on which a healthier love can be built, whether with the same person who learns the lesson or with someone new who already understands. What often surprises people is how powerful that silence and distance can be. When you remove yourself from what is unhealthy, respect begins to grow in the absence of your presence. People often realize the value of what they had only when it is gone. And even if they do not, you have already claimed your own respect by choosing not to stay where you are not valued. That act alone raises your worth in your own eyes and in the eyes of others. Walking away is not only about leaving someone else behind, it is about elevating yourself into the space where respect becomes non-negotiable. Transformation through letting go is one of the most liberating experiences in love. Many people hold on to relationships long after they have served their purpose, believing that staying is safer than walking away. But the truth is that holding on often keeps you trapped in a cycle of pain, while letting go opens the door to something new. Transformation does not come from clinging to what hurts. It comes from trusting that you are worthy of something greater. When you choose to walk away, you release not just the person or the relationship, but also the fears, doubts, and insecurities that kept you tied to them. That release is what creates the beginning of your transformation. Letting go is not about erasing love or pretending it never existed. It is about understanding that love should help you grow, not shrink. When you find yourself holding on to someone who no longer meets you with honesty, consistency, or care, you begin to lose parts of yourself. The laughter fades, the peace disappears, and the joy feels harder to find. By letting go, you reclaim those lost parts of yourself. You rediscover the strength you had forgotten and the beauty you thought you had lost. It is in that rediscovery that transformation begins. The act of walking away is deeply tied to trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the journey, and trust in the fact that endings are not failures. Letting go transforms you because it forces you to rely on your own strength instead of depending on someone else for validation. You start to see yourself as whole again, not as half of a broken relationship. That shift is powerful. It moves you from a place of need to a place of fullness. The more you let go, the more you begin to see that you were never incomplete. You only needed to clear away what dimmed your light. Transformation also happens because letting go frees up emotional space. As long as you are tied to something that no longer serves you, there is no room for anything new to enter your life. You may say you want love, joy, or peace, but if your heart is occupied with pain and old attachments, there is no space for them to take root. Walking away is like clearing a garden of weeds so new flowers can grow. It makes space for healthier love, deeper connections, and opportunities that reflect your true worth. Without that release, you remain stuck, waiting for change in a place where it may never come. Another part of transformation is learning to embrace the unknown. Letting go often feels terrifying because you do not know what comes next. But that very uncertainty is what allows growth. By walking away, you step into a space where new possibilities can reveal themselves. You begin to learn more about yourself, your desires, your boundaries, your dreams, without the noise of a relationship that no longer aligns with them. This journey of self-discovery changes you. It strengthens your independence, sharpens your clarity, and makes you more grounded in your own identity. Letting go also transforms the way you love in the future. Once you have walked away from something that did not honor you, you carry with you the lessons it taught. You begin to recognize red flags sooner, to value respect more deeply, and to hold onto your boundaries with greater conviction. You are no longer willing to settle for less than you deserve because you know what it feels like to leave behind what does not serve you. That kind of transformation makes you stronger, wiser, and more open to the kind of love that truly matches your worth. So let us remember this truth. Love is never about how tightly you hold on, but about how deeply you honor yourself. Walking away is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a greater chapter, a chapter where your worth shines brighter than the pain you left behind. When you walk away, you show the world that your heart is too precious to be mishandled, too sacred to be silenced, too powerful to be overlooked. You teach others how to treat you, and you remind yourself that respect, peace, and joy are not luxuries. They are necessities. And here's the beauty. Every step you take away from what does not serve you is a step toward the kind of love that will cherish you, honor you, and meet you at the level of your worth. Walking away does not make you less loving. It makes you more powerful, more radiant, more free. So hold your head high, carry your spirit with pride, and know this. When you choose yourself, when you choose dignity, when you choose love that begins within, you will never lose. You only rise.